Chapter 1, Episode 23. Have you ever suddenly felt like the room was spinning around you, even though you weren't moving? Research suggests that about 1 in 14 adults will experience vestibular vertigo during their lifetime. In simple language, that's vertigo related to how the inner ear and brain work together to control balance. One of the most common causes is called BPPV. BPPV stands for benign paroxysmal positional vertigo. It sounds complicated, but the name actually describes what happens. Benign means it's usually not dangerous. Paroxysmal means it comes in sudden, short episodes. Positional means certain head positions trigger it. And vertigo means that spinning or moving sensation. Deep inside your inner ear are tiny calcium carbonate crystals that help you sense movement and gravity. Normally, they stay where they belong. But sometimes these tiny crystals become loose and enter one of the inner ear's balance canals. When you move your head, those loose crystals move too, and send an incorrect movement signal toward the brain. Suddenly, you feel movement when you're actually still. This explains why very ordinary movements can suddenly trigger BPPV. Rolling over in bed, getting in or out of bed, looking upward, bending down, or quickly changing the position of your head. The spinning is usually brief, but it can feel very dramatic. Often, we don't know exactly why those crystals became loose. But BPPV becomes more common as we get older, particularly after age 50, and women are affected more often than men. It can also occur after a head injury, and research has found associations with migraine, osteoporosis, and some inner ear conditions. If your symptoms sound like BPPV, a clinician may perform a positional examination such as the Dix-Hallpike test. Your head and body are carefully moved into a particular position. The clinician watches your eyes for an involuntary movement called nystagmus and asks whether the movement produces your familiar spinning sensation. These clues can help identify positional vertigo. Here's one of the most interesting things about BPPV. If loose crystals are causing the problem, a pill doesn't put those crystals back where they belong. Instead, clinicians can use a sequence of head and body movements called a canalith repositioning maneuver. One of the best known is the Epley maneuver. The goal is to guide those loose crystals out of the affected canal. Some people improve quickly after successful repositioning. Others need the maneuver repeated. And here's something important, even when the spinning has stopped, some people can still feel mildly dizzy or unsteady for a while. One study found that residual dizziness lasted a median of about 10 days, although recovery varies considerably from person to person. There's another interesting connection. Research has linked low vitamin D with recurring BPPV. And clinical trials suggest that when people with BPPV are vitamin D deficient, correcting the deficiency may help reduce future episodes. So if your BPPV keeps returning, it may be worth asking your doctor, should I have my vitamin D checked? So vertigo isn't simply feeling dizzy. If changing your head position makes the room suddenly spin, BPPV is one possible explanation. Tiny crystals can move out of place in the inner ear. A positional test can help identify the problem. And sometimes, carefully repositioning those crystals can make a remarkable difference. Next, we'll look at the second type of dizziness, lightheadedness, when you feel like you might faint.